New York and New Jersey, Jackie Bray, our Commissioner of Homeland Security and Emergency Services, as well as Beth Rooney, the Port Director of the Port Authority, who's been working around the clock to try and deal with the impending crisis. You may have heard the news that contract negotiations are going on between the International Longshoremen Association. That is the union that represents port workers all across the country, and USMX. Now that deadline is rapidly approaching. If an agreement is not reached by later today, ports from Maine to Texas will face a strike. 47,000 workers, 4,500 of which are right here in the New York and New Jersey area, and we represent the largest port on the East Coast, the second largest in the nation, so the busiest in the nation. So we are preparing for that and rapidly trying to take them off the ships now, get them on trucks, and get them to their destinations at a hyper speed, because we know the urgency is before us. So I want to make sure that while we hope for a resolution of this matter, that New York is fully prepared. We have been anticipating this. We're fully prepared to support our communities and maintain essential services if a strike does occur. Stockpiles, including emergency generators, are ready to be mobilized at a moment's notice. While we're preparing for the worst, and that's what we're supposed to do in government, prepare for the worst, there's also some reassuring news. We don't anticipate shortages of essential goods anytime soon. So, for example, people do not need to rush out to the grocery store and stockpile goods like they did during the pandemic. I want to be very clear about that. We do not want to see people reach that level of anxiety, because we are not there. Also, fuels like home heating oil, gasoline, diesel, we don't expect them to be affected in New York City because they're brought in by other vessels. And this is critical as we particularly approach the colder months. Municipal solid waste operations will also be unaffected in the event of a strike, meaning your garbage will continue to be carted out and disposed of. What about the rest of the state? Our upstate ports, including Albany, Coeymans, Oswego, and Buffalo, will not be impacted by a strike. They're represented by different unions. New Yorkers have always shown their resilience and camaraderie, looking out for each other. And I'm confident that working together we'll be able to weather any challenges we face. I have been drilling down into the exact operations of what happens at 5 o'clock today, and again, assuring everyone that the cargo that has not been transported off-site by trucks will be in secure places. We've also been ramping up our security, and there will be disruptions. Automobiles, if you're expecting to be able to get a new car this week, it may be something you want to check with your dealer. It may not be arriving, for example, the next few weeks. That is one area we expect major disruptions. Not exactly a consumer item, but something like semiconductor chips. We saw what happened during the pandemic when literally the automotive industry shut down in our country because we weren't able to get those essential chips that are basically the brains of any vehicle. So there's a lot of areas where people may not have anticipated a disruption, but we have.
We are expecting the ILA, its 47,000 members, to go on strike at ports from Maine to Texas at midnight tonight. While we have encouraged both sides to reach an amicable agreement at the bargaining table, all signs are that there will be a strike. And the port has been preparing in cooperation with both states, New York and New Jersey, for the past period of time, but with great intensity over the last 10 days. Are arriving at the port over the next week, and they will go to Anchorage under the supervision of the Coast Guard for whatever the duration of the strike. With that, I'd like to bring Commissioner Jackie Bray, the New York Commissioner of Homeland Security and Emergency Operations, to the podium.
Thank you so much. I will be really quick. I just want to reassure New Yorkers and reiterate that we are not only coordinating with our New Jersey partners, our New York City partners, and our county partners, but we're also coordinating with industry, including individual facilities that might experience delays. And at this point, we don't expect over the next couple weeks to see significant disruption for New Yorkers. but we are preparing in the event that this would be a longer duration event.
A strike before midnight tonight here in the state of New York, pending some resolution of the negotiations, but it's all about being prepared, and I want to reassure everybody we have been taking countless precautionary steps to speed up the process of unloading these ships and deal with the cargo containers in advance of this, so we're in much better shape than we had been if we had not done this, but also the emergency supplies that people are concerned about. Again, prescription drugs fly in, they come in on planes, so we're not concerned about that, but there are medical supplies that we're concerned about and making sure that all of our hospital and medical facilities have properly stockpiled. Again, something that a state does not negotiate with. This is a strike that is nationwide, from Maine to Texas. And so our responsibility is to show New Yorkers that we anticipated this, just like a storm. You prepare for it, you hope it doesn't hit, but when it does, you at least say, we were ready. And that's what I wanna let New Yorkers know right now, that we are ready for this. We're gonna continue the line of communication, so if we're concerned about any particular consumer goods, if this goes on any significant length of time, we'll be engaging with them, but also, again, the reassurance of knowing, as I just met the Canadian Prime Minister and talked about our trade relationship, there's a lot of food that crosses the border from Canada into New York. Many thousands of the trucks come in from California and Mexico, so we're not totally reliant for our food chain on the port to be fully functioning.